when you scan this with a smartphone, it opens up to a celebration of life profile. You can put a full biography on here, photos, videos, family tree, and there's also a guest book. So the retail cost of Life's QR is $250. That is a one-time fee. Includes is 35 years of prepaid hosting for the memorial.
Nothing is more important than knowing that somebody still cares about your loved one, that they've come to the gravesite, that they still make an impact. So today I'd like to introduce my guest, Jennifer Blakely, who is from Life's QR. And Jennifer, I met you at one of our conventions just recently, and I heard of your company, and my curiosity was immediately piqued. And so I am so excited to talk to you today and learn more about what is Life's QR. So welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And it was really nice to meet you at the conference in such a beautiful place. We were in Arizona, so that was hot.
Yes, very hot. I live in Houston, and I have this. We always say, "Oh, how can you stand the heat?" And it's a humidity that's like no other. But when I went to Arizona, I can tell you right now, I have found a new appreciation for Houston heat.
Yes, I bet.
So how did you get into Life's QR? What is the history behind this company? And then we'll kind of basically tell our listeners what Life's QR is about.
Okay, so I think that I kind of have to start from the beginning.
Yes, please do. Yes.
Start from the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. So I'm actually a photographer. So I started this company previously with my previous history being a photographer, and I traveled and I photographed families, and it was a beautiful business, and I love photography. I still do. And during COVID, my studio was closed. So I was in a mandatory shutdown situation. I couldn't service my clients. I couldn't travel to my clients. And I started walking and I started working out like a lot of people did during that time. It was 2020. And our local cemetery has a huge walking track kind of situation. If you walk around twice, it's 5 kilometers. So I started walking. And during that time in 2020, as we know, there was a real resurrection of the QR code. So the QR code was a thing. It was invented in 2002. Back in 2002, you had to have an app. You had to have a special QR code reader, and then people forgot about it. It really didn't catch on back then. But during 2020, the QR code made a comeback during COVID. So we started seeing it in restaurant menus, building entry forms, children's sports, like everything with a QR code. And I was one of these people that was like, I'm never going to learn how to use this. I'm stuck in my ways. I don't know what this is. I don't want to know what this is, until I finally found myself in a situation where I had to use a QR code, and I pointed my camera at it and I was like, whoa, that was really easy. It was a lot easier than I had thought it was going to be.
I'm exactly right there with you.
Right?
I didn't know how to.
I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not learning new things.
I remember trying to come up with a cue. I'm just going to repeat for a second because it goes along with what you're talking about. Because I was thinking the same thing. There was a time when the QR code was cool, and then it kind of went away because I was trying to create a QR code for the museum, and in that moment, of course, I didn't understand how to create one, but someone created one for us, and we had put it on our brochures. And then they were like, "Oh, the QR code's dead. Nobody's going to use it anymore." So we took it off of our brochures. And then, like you said, it came back in 2020. You're going into a restaurant, you got to point it at and I was like, I want a menu. I want to hold a menu. Why do I have to put my camera on this? And when I stubbornly finally did it, I was like, wow, okay, that was easy. And so, yeah, I have to attest to what you're saying. It was truly a transformation for myself, who is set in their ways like you, and has a hard time adapting to the quickly changing use of technology. So yes, I apologize for interrupting, but please, yes,
I mean, I think that everybody shares that same story because it went from being difficult to like having to have an app, to, our smartphones nowadays just have the QR code built into it. Like you don't have to
Hmm.
download anything. All you need is a camera. And I didn't know that. Anyways, I was new. So regardless, I was walking around the cemetery. It was like 2020, right? And the QR codes were everywhere. And I was just like, I just learned how to use it for the first time. And I'm like, oh, I feel very smart about this. And it just occurred to me that in the cemetery, I'd go there every day and I would see these headstones. And I don't live in a huge town. So I would see names on the headstones of people who I thought that I knew. Like I would see a last name and think, I think that might be my grade 8 teacher, but I didn't know his first name. It was just Mr. White at that point, right? So, or
Hmm.
right, or whatever. Or I think that might be my grandmother's neighbor. I think that might be my old neighbor. But like you really don't know. You just see a name and a birth date and a death date. And sometimes people etch things on or they put extra information on the headstone, but there's really no space to do that. And at that point, I was just like, oh my God, like why is there not a QR code here? This is where the QR code needs to be, really. Like, this is more valuable than a restaurant menu. Like, put a QR code on headstone so I can see who this person is and see
Right.
if it's my neighbor or my teacher. I can leave a note for the family. So I came up with the idea of Life's QR, and that's how it started. So it's been a while. The business has been growing. We have these little QR code signs. They're just peel and stick. They can go on new headstones. They can go on old headstones. They can go in museums. They can go in history archives. They can do, you can put them anywhere. And we have little ones for urns as well. So when you scan this with a smartphone, so all you need to do is put your picture on this, like your camera on it with a smartphone. Immediately, it opens up to a celebration of life profile. And you can put a full biography on here, unlimited text. So you can copy and paste an obituary, or you can put, scriptures and poetry. You can put a life story. You can put your favorite memories. You can put whatever you want to about that person. You can upload 200 photos, videos, like tribute videos. You can link to articles, social media pages, Spotify playlists, really whatever you want. There's a family tree for ancestry, and there's also a guest book. So anyone that goes can scan it and leave a note. So if that was my grade 8 teacher, and if he did have a life's QR, I could scan it and leave a note for his family that I was there, his impact that he had on my life, whatever I wanted. So that's what Life's QR is, and that's how the idea was born.
Wow. So if I wanted, so I just recently lost my mother, and I think that would be really interesting that, so how do I go about getting one of these life QRs, let's say for my mom, so that I can upload her obituary and like you just said, we had all these beautiful photos at her service and stuff. So how would I get one of these for my mother?
So you can visit your local funeral home or cemetery. We do sell in funeral homes and cemeteries and ask for it there. Or you can go to lifesqr.com and you can order right online. We ship all over the world. It's very easy to do, and like I said, they come in different sizes and different shapes. So we can make it for her. So what you would do is you would order it or pick it up from your funeral home. You would take it home and you would scan it. So what we've done, just to kind of take a step back, because I know
Yeah.
it's a little confusing because it's like, how does this work, right? It's magic. No, just joking. It's not.
It's kind of like how you get
So,
electricity to your house, right? You just can't see it,
right.
but it's
Like
there.
nobody really knows how the QR code works. And I don't know. It's like, no. So what we've done is we've created like millions and millions and millions of QR codes that are all different. So it doesn't look like it's different. It just looks like a QR code, but the dots and squares in the middle, it actually leads to a unique web page that's hosted on livesqr.com. So the first time you scan it, you have to register this unique QR code. So you'd scan it, you would register this unique QR code for your loved one, create an account, and then you'd log in and upload all your information onto there. So it's very easy to do. It's very much like a Facebook page, except that there's no advertising and it's made just for memorial purposes.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. It sounds like a Facebook page, right? Like, because you can go there and kind of leave a lot of your memories and go back and see them. So I think that's fascinating. And interesting enough, when I was, at the funeral home for my mom, unfortunately, that wasn't made, um, you know, that option wasn't given to me. I didn't know that a Life's QR code existed. So I know that it's hard to get into every single funeral home. So, how, like the funeral home that I took my mother to, how would I maybe tell them that they need to offer this to their families?
Well, I think that you could walk in and you could say, I think that you should offer life to your families.
Because they didn't have that. They didn't have that
I
as an
know.
option.
I know, I know. We're trying to do our best to market to the funeral and cemetery industry, and we do have a lot of partners. If you go to lifesqr.com, we have a partnership map there. So you can actually click on the map and you can see who's selling it in your area. So you can go to pick up one there. But if not, you can, like I said, purchase from lifesqr.com.
And how much is the cost of the Life QR?
So the retail cost of Life's QR is $250. That is a one-time fee. So what that $250 includes is 35 years of prepaid hosting for the memorial, database backups, server maintenance. So you'll never have to pay again during that 35 years. It's basically like a website that's being hosted for you. So it's guaranteed from the time you register the QR code. And then after 35 years, you can continue hosting again, or you can download the memorial content and keep it yourself. But what we're doing is we're just making sure that people's memories, their photos, their videos are passed on to at least the next generation or the generation after, so they have that information and they can store it safely.
And two things popped in my head just now. Was one of them is what a wonderful tool for genealogy. We get a lot of genealogists come to the museum and say, "Hey, can we, get into your archivals? We're trying to track down a funeral home that might have records that we're trying to gain access to for some family so that we can track a tree." So, I mean, what an amazing, modern day tool to really help with the, that whole tracing of the family tree, which people probably don't realize is that's the importance of an obituary. That's the importance of the headstone, right? It's so that there is a record, if you will. Unfortunately, it's very, very small, the information that is put to that record, but at least it's a record of your existence and it shows where you fall in the family tree. So I think the QR code, I think, allows you to expand on that. And like you said, it does two things. It allows you to incorporate more information for the future generations, but it also allows you to learn more about that person if they're not related in the family, but you think you might know them, right? And I love the idea of being able to leave a message for them. So it's kind of like allowing that guest book that is put out at the funeral. People come and write that message in that guest book, and that's where it kind of started. And now we have an online obit where you can go in and you can leave a message on an online obit. But usually after a while, that online obit goes away, and there's no more opportunity to create a message of condolence or, "Hey, I came and visited you today," letting the family know, because I think nothing is more important than knowing that somebody still cares about your loved one, that they've come to the gravesite, they still make an impact, even though they're no longer present. So what a wonderful, kind of like, I want to say like a measure of comfort that you're able to provide to the family, knowing that there's still people that want to come and pay their respects, or just sit and have a moment with them and reflect on their impact that they had on their life. So I can see just so many amazing things that Life's QR code can provide, not only the people that, the family that they've left behind, but the people who they've impacted in their lives, and getting to know their life story a little bit more, especially if they miss the funeral. It's an opportunity for them to be there in a sense. years
Mhm.
later.
That's right. And actually, it's a good point that you're bringing up about the online obituaries that eventually disappear. A lot of these companies that have the online obituaries, they have a reoccurring fee. So if you want to continually have that information available, you have to pay yearly subscriptions, or every 5 years you have to pay. And then when you stop paying, that obituary goes away. With Life's QR, it is guaranteed for 35 years. That's why the cost is a little bit more significant. We wanted to make sure that information was available and always there. And that's why we do the database backups and all the server maintenance all the time. Everything is prepaid. We have a team of people that are working on it to make sure your memories are kept safe. And to note, you don't even have to be at the cemetery to look at a Life's QR. So if you go to lifesqr.com, you can actually use the search bar there and search obituaries, all the legacies right there. So if you
Oh,
have family around the world who isn't able to make it to the cemetery, but they still want to view that person's online tribute, they can do it with lifesqr.com. We have like an ancestry database right online.
oh
So
wow.
our goal is to really preserve those memories, make sure that they're available for those that want to see them, work on the guest book so the family can have that comfort. Because even if you have a cousin or an aunt that's, across the world that wants to be able to view the tribute video, and they want to be able to view, maybe the funeral service can be uploaded to the QR code, anything on a video, right? Like you can make that available and there for people who aren't able to visit. So yeah, it's a really
Wow.
beautiful. Mhm.
That's impactful. So you say it's 35 years, which is truly amazing, but we all know that technology changes like every 5 years, right? So,
Mhm.
um, is there opportunity for, let's say I do my QR code today, and let's say 5 or 6 years ago from now, the iPhones change, or the technology we're using to access our QR code changes.
Mhm.
Is there going to be a change or an upgrade, if you will, to any of the QR code if the technology no longer supports it?
Well, like I said before, you don't even need the QR code to access the tribute. It lives
Okay,
online.
good.
So that's always going to be there. So that's a guaranteed thing. Like you can go to lifesqr.com and you can search it, and it's always going to be there. As far as the QR code, I'm glad that you brought this up because there's a lot of, misconceptions about QR codes and technology changing. And what a QR code is. Do you know what it stands for? I'm just curious if you know. A lot of people don't.
Absolutely don't.
Okay. So a QR code stands for quick response. So a QR is quick response to open up a web page. QR codes were invented in 2022. So that was, oh no, so 2002, not 2022, 2002. So almost 20 years ago, over 20 years ago now, they've been going. And all it is you point your phone at it and it opens up to a website. So with smartphones and smart technology, they're actually going in favor of QR. So it's actually getting easier to read QR codes with smartphones. That's why previously you had to have an app. Now it's just built into smartphones. The newest thing is the Meta goggles. Have you seen those
Hmm.
before? Like
Yeah,
the
I
Meta
haven't seen them. I haven't seen them, but I heard of them.
And the Meta glasses will make it so you can actually just put on these glasses and it's going to pick up QR codes everywhere you look, and like little things will pop up. And I always think, well, how cool is that going to be if you go to a cemetery and you have these Meta glasses and you can actually look at the headstones and see like little profile pictures of people and just click on it, right, and read about it. So I feel that as long as the internet is around, which it's an invention that is not going to go away, it's one of these things like electricity or like the telephone kind of thing. It
Yeah.
might get better over time, but it's always there. The QR code it'll be usable. It's just a quick response to visit a web page. But like I said, with Life's QR, you don't even need the QR code. You can just go right online and search in our ancestry database, and that web page and all the information will live there for 35 years guaranteed.
Oh, that's amazing. So
Mhm.
I do get genealogists from time to time contact us. So I'm going to have to tell them about Life's QR as a resource for them as well. So have you been able to kind of market to the genealogists that are, throughout the world, and tell them about the Life's QR, so that they can use that as a resource?
Yeah, I mean, we've done general marketing to the public. Right now, we're very heavily focused on the funeral and cemetery industry. But looking at genealogists, like a lot of them actually find us. So the QR code and this memorial idea is becoming more popular. And I think that after some Google searching, we do have people come to us and pick it up. And it's a great resources. We have, resource. We have a cemeteries who are doing historical walking tours. So when you go to the historic monuments, instead of having a volunteer out there all the time at only certain times of the week, there's QR codes on the historic monuments now. Like the Wright brothers have a life's QR code right in front of their monument in Dayton, Ohio. And that cemetery in particular is called Woodland Cemetery, is completely interactive. So they have a huge interactive walking tour with life's QR, which is really, really, really cool. But we also have one here in Niagara Falls for all the war generals from the War of 1812. They also have a historic walking tour. So it's really neat what you can do with it. And, we have a genealogy society here. One of my neighbors, a couple doors down, is a part of it. And, they find the headstones of their ancestors, like their great, great, great grandparents. Now, you would know this, I guess, like, and this is why we always get pushed back. Well, why only 35 years? Why not forever? Well, people are finding the headstones of their great 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 grandparents, and you can't even read the name on it anymore. Really, nothing is forever, not even the stones that you purchase. So
Okay.
when you find those headstones and you can't even read the words anymore, you can absolutely add a QR code to it so those walking by can scan it and see who's there and read a little bit about the history of who's there.
And that's another question that what you just spoke of is prompting this thought and question that I have had for the last 15 minutes, I reckon. So the QR code is, let's say it's placed on the headstone. How is it? How does it withstand the elements over time? Will the QR code fade? Can it get replaced if it does fade, or gets damaged, or gets pulled off from vandalism?
So the QR codes themselves, it's 304 stainless steel, and they're laser etched with a fiber laser. So the etching is right in there. Because it's the stainless steel, it is rust and corrosion resistant, which is great. On the back, we are using 3M VHB tape, which is the most permanent adhesive in the market. It's just a peel and stick. The caveat is that it needs to go on a flat marker. So if you have an old headstone that is that's not completely flat, it's not going to stick as well. So you might want to put a plaque or something up against it and then stick this to the plaque, just as long as it's a nice flat surface. And all of the boxes come with an alcohol swab as well. So what you would do is you would prepare the stone, peel, stick, and hold. They say, this is according to the manufacturer, the 3M VHB, that it needs to be attached when it's 74 degrees or higher. So not to be attaching them in the middle of the winter. If you're in Buffalo, wait for the spring or summer months to attach it, just because the adhesive will stick more. Life's QR does have a lifetime warranty on the sign. So if something should happen to the sign, if it gets lost, damaged, stolen, if it falls off because it wasn't attached properly or something like this, you can contact Life's QR and we'll replace it at no cost. And the reason is that, this QR code sign is not worth $250. What is worth $250 is the database, the backups, the server, the maintenance, and the online memorial that lives in the cloud, right? So this is a quick response to get to the things that are living in the cloud. So this can be replaced. It's no problem. The website will always be there, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, it does. And I mean, and we know that we all have to pay for, if you have cloud storage, you have to pay for cloud storage. So it's completely understandable that there are hard costs for you and your company in
Yeah.
maintaining all of this information and making sure that the information that you're maintaining is safe.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's important. So, people say, "Oh, why does it have to cost so much?" Well, if you think about it, take $250 and divide it by 35. It really isn't that much money. Um,
No.
and the amount of family members and people that can access this data is countless, and the information that it holds is priceless. So I find it a very fair value, and knowing that it's guaranteed and it's going to be there for 35 years, and I think 35 years is probably reasonable, considering the next generation that comes along can pay to keep that information going. Um, and then, again, if the next generation feels that it's important to keep it going, then they do. But a lot of times, a lot of the memories that we have of our loved one really only last maybe two generations. By the third generation, it's hard to recollect, or there might not be a significant attachment to somebody, three generations above. But and it's hard. But yes, it would be important if the generations would continue that membership of their loved one. But if not, it's understandable.
Mhm. At least they'll have the information, right?
Yes, like you said, they can download the information and they'll know that
That's
that the information is there for future generations, and passing it down. So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful service. It's a wonderful opportunity. I can already tell you I'm going to do it for my mother. I think it's very, very important, and it's something I definitely want to be shared. Perhaps putting it into somewhat of an exhibit of the modern technology of how we can commemorate and our loved ones, and keep their memories going. Maybe putting it along with the importance of genealogy and stuff like that, and kind of work up something that has the undertones of genealogy and the importance of genealogy, and what the funeral home's role is in maintaining those records. And now life's QR code, modern day, is now at our feet right now, and can help us maintain those records and moving forward. So I think it's very, very important more than anything. I went to Utah one many years back, and they have, I don't know if you've ever been, but they have this like genealogy library, and it
mhm.
was I was aghast when I saw the amount of records that they have in this genealogy library, but the way they incorporated technology into it, that you could literally like type your family name into the computer, and then this big screen literally just like put up pictures and the timeline of your entire family, like by year, and their year of birth, their year to death, and it was just like all right there in front of your eyes. And I know that the Mormon Church and stuff has done a fabulous job of maintaining those records so that they're able to put it in this type of a display, right? And I'm kind of seeing that Life's QR code can kind of do that as
Mhm.
well. It's just it's a live record that you get to actually look at. I think it's amazing. Now, do you guys see? Are you going to be able to in the future start linking family members? I think my concept is that I'm trying to put forth is that if I were to link on my mother's life QR code, and I've already, I've lost my sister. Is there a way that perhaps within the life's QR code you can start embedding other loved ones that are related within
Yeah,
that one QR code?
yeah, yeah. We already have that built in. So on the family tree feature, if you have, six family members that all have a Life's QR profile, you can interlink them together. So you'll be able to go to your mother's profile, find your sister's name, click on it, and then go to her profile and find someone else's name and click on it. So it's all going to be woven together. It's already on there.
Oh, that's amazing. So I can literally start creating my family tree just through my mother's QR code.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's now, but when I'm building my family tree, I need to have a QR code for every single family member that needs to be linked?
Yes. Yeah. As
Okay.
long it's for one plot. So say there's a plot of land that has five people there. You can have one QR code per plot, and that's going to be one account. But if you want to interlink them, and if their memorials are in different locations, you'd need a different QR code per location.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So what you can have one QR code for that one plot that might have multiple family members within it, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's the one fee that will allow me to access information on all the family members there. But if they're in other locations, then I pay separate fees to get them all
Yeah.
to link together.
That's right.
Perfect. Oh
Mhm.
wow, that's pretty fascinating to think um, that I can, I have an amazing family tree that goes all the way back to the early 1800s.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I would be curious to see if the Life's QR code could help me try to figure out how to embed that family tree into this database, into this amazing technology. I don't know if that's even possible.
Yeah. I mean, like, is that so? Your family tree, where is it hosted right now? Is it a Google Doc or is it on ancestry.com or where is it?
It's on a piece of paper in
It's
my
on a
house.
okay. So you have to take that information and input it into the Life's QR,
Okay.
just so it's like somewhere online and safe, right? And like, the pieces of paper in your house, like this is one of the reasons why we created Life's QR as well. Like, when you go to my mom's basement, for example, or my sister's basement or whoever, like you go downstairs and I see trunks and trunks of scrapbooks and photo books and photo albums, you know, and I don't know the last time when I actually printed a photo. I have two kids. I'm a photographer. I should have up to date photo albums of my children, but I don't because everything is online now and everything's in the iCloud. Everything's on my phone. Everything is digital. So, this generation of people who are the most photographed generation in history are
Hmm.
dying with no pictures. And it's something quite remarkable. Everything is on the iCloud, everything is on personal cell phones. Now, what happens if you don't pay for your iCloud? What happens to those photos? What happens if I pass away to my iCloud? Who is responsible? How do they get that? Right.
Yeah,
So,
how do they access your iCloud if you don't have your
right.
password?
So this is why you want to get your photos of your family off of your phone, and have your sisters and brothers do the same thing. So we all share a memorial. You can all put the photos on the QR code. That way it's in a safe place. It's not in a personal iCloud. It's on the Life's QR server. We're backing it up. We're maintaining it. We're hosting it for you until you can actually figure it out and maybe get around to making your own photo album one day. But at least those memories are safe.
Yeah, because I always like, I've always liked the fact that Facebook always, maintains all of these memories, right? Like you get all these pictures, and my daughter, a couple of my daughters are really good at putting milestones and pictures onto Facebook because they're like, well, the Facebook does a good job of chronology, keeping them all in a chronological order, but at
Mhm.
the same time you can always go back and access that memory, or sometimes it'll pop up a memory for you, right? And you totally forgot about it, and if Facebook reminds you of it. But it's interesting. I had a guest that on my podcast, and forgive me that it's not coming to me that the actual podcast that we had, but we were talking about the digital death. That if we pass away, we don't pass on our passwords, and we don't download all of our photos and stuff, then we have what we call this digital death, because everything that was part of our life digitally can't be accessed, and it just goes away and we lose
Yeah,
it all, you
that's
know?
right.
So it's
Yeah.
important that we maintain our memories, and we've gone to this technology to house them and hold on to them for us. But if we
Yeah.
don't put forth the right steps to store it so that other families can access it, it'll
Yeah,
unfortunately die with us.
it will. And I do
Yeah.
think that, Life's QR just being a website, it's not an app. You don't have to have anything special to access it. You just go to the website and you can search. It's a relatively safe place to store things.
Mm.
Many years ago, when my grandmother passed away, we had a tribute video made for her. And the funeral home gave my mom a floppy disk, like and then I don't even know. My computer looks like a little box. You can't put anything in my computer. There's no USB, there's no floppy disk, there's no CD drive, there's nothing. So I don't even know how to access that video anymore. Like we'd have to take
Hmm.
it to the library and get it off. But with Life's QR, you can upload it to the internet, right? And the internet's been around since 1997. It's one of these things that's going to always be there. It's an invention that is going to be, you know, this is who we are now. Um, it's a safer place to keep your memories than floppy disks or CD drives or things like that when it comes to
Yeah.
digital memories.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I was given a thumb drive right after the service. I was given a thumb drive, which basically has all the pictures. And then we did do a live stream and a recording. I just haven't gotten the medium yet that houses that. But again, I'm like, okay, I have this. I need to upload it somewhere so that it doesn't get lost, you know? So yeah, definitely. Is there a max to the storage on Life's QR?
So there is, it hosts 200 photos. So you have to go through and curate pretty carefully a couple photos from each year of the life, um, important like, milestones, things like that. So because of the storage fees that are involved, it's 200 photos that we keep. It's unlimited links to videos. So what you could do is you could create a slideshow of your own, upload it to YouTube under private or just unlisted if you don't want the world to see it. And then you can embed it into the Life's QR profile. That's kind of a workaround to do that.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, because then if I did the video of my mom's service, I would have to choose the video over photos because the video obviously would eat up much more storage, right?
Yeah, you would upload the video to YouTube. You'd create a YouTube account, list it as unlisted as long as people that have the link can see it, and then you'd embed it to the profile.
Okay. So all videos go to YouTube on a private profile.
Yeah.
Very interesting. See, I didn't even know that either. And and for the older generation, such as myself, we're still learning the not only the nuances of technology, but the amazing the way the technology all works together, right? Like you were telling me, you're going to have Life's QR code, but then you need to use the YouTube platform and how they all will interconnect. I still wouldn't even know how to make a link yet, but I would figure that one out too along the way.
And we have amazing customer service. We do. They're always available. They can help you. We have customer service agents that actually make profiles for people. If they're really having that hard of a time, they can call us and we'll walk you through every step of the way. And we'll make sure it's perfect too. It's really important to us to make sure that everything is represented exactly the way the family wants. So customer service is amazing.
Oh, that's good to know too, because like I said, I was like going to have to talk to my daughters because I'd be like, I need your help because I don't know what I'm doing, but this is important to me. But knowing that you guys are there to help people who are not technology savvy at all, that this is something that even they can do for their loved one, correct? With your help.
That's right. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Gosh, I'm really excited to learn about this and get more hands-on and personal experience with it. So I definitely, how long has QR code been around now?
Life's QR, the business,
Mm, yes,
4 years.
4 years. Wow. So it's still kind of in its infancy stage per se, right?
Still new. We won the ICCFA award for Best Memorial Product of the Year in 2023. So
Congrats.
the ICCFA is a big organization. Do you know what that is?
Yes, the International Cemetery and Crematory Funeral
Yeah,
Association. Yes, uh-huh.
that's right. So we're pretty new. We have a couple of celebrity influencers that are talking about it on their social media channels. We're winning the industry awards. So we're going strong and we're growing pretty quickly, but everything is going very smoothly. We're very, very happy with the direction that the business is going. And it's an honor to be able to maintain these memories for families that would otherwise not have any way to do it. And now when I go through the cemetery and I walk around, because my cemetery, of course, sells Life's QR, I can actually scan the headstones, and it makes for a very interesting walk. Whenever I see a new QR code, I scan it and see a little bit about that person and their life and their legacy that they left behind. It's really interesting.
Wow. Well, I think it's an amazing addition to the whole memorialization of our loved ones. The legacy that is going to be embedded in these QR codes. Just basically, like you say, it's life's QR. It's the life of that person. So
That's right.
Jennifer, gosh, I want to thank you so much for coming on board. And actually, hopefully once I have some personal experience with it, I definitely would like to have you back as a guest and talk more about it and perhaps just kind of give a follow up on how it has changed my life, how it has increased the legacy that I want to create for my family.
Oh,
So I definitely would like to give a personal testimony and in a follow up with you and kind of, follow up and see how it's going, how it's growing. So I look forward to that as well.
Well, thank you.
So, yes. So, Jennifer Blakely, again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your innovation. Thank you for your, there's so many great things that came out of COVID. And I have to say, this is another one of those great things that, you know, has now been something that will live on for many many years in so many people's lives.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And thanks for the opportunity to speak on Life's QR. It is a new product. So we're really excited when people reach out to us and want to talk about it. So thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Appreciate it.